We are not going to make a painting today. We are going to make art papers, and art papers are used in collage. We are going to be mixing our own colors. So for every rectangle that you paint in, you are going to have to mix at least 2 colors together to make your new color. Now you might say, Miss Cairns, I thought you said you can't make yellow or you can't make red. Well, you can't make a primary color, yellow, red, or blue, if you don't have it already. So you will start with primary colors, but then you can alter them because, as we know, there are multitudes of yellows and multitudes of reds and blues and greens and all the colors. There's not just one color that we know as blue or yellow or red or orange or any color. So color mixing today, very fun.
Hello, my talented artists.
Don't forget to subscribe. All right, friends, I want you to pick up your pencils and write your name and your code. Go ahead and do that now. And this will be the back of your paper. You will paint on the other side. So now I want you to fold your paper in half. Do the best you can, remembering that I cut the paper and it's not going to be perfect. Now I want you to fold it again. 2 folds. One more time, we will fold it. Now we have 3 folds. Open your paper up. And we have 8 rectangles. In each rectangle, we are going to paint a different color. However, here is the challenge. You must mix 2 different colors together to make every color that you paint inside the rectangle. Now, you might think that red and yellow always make orange. Well, behold, if you take a tiny, tiny, teensy-weensy bit of red or any other color and mix it into yellow, it just makes it a different shade of yellow. Once you've thoroughly mixed your color, mixed and mixed and mixed, you should paint an outline of one of the rectangles. It's very important to cover all the white spots on your paper. So make sure that you are smoothing everything out. And you can also think about your brush stroke. While I'm painting the yellow, I'm not really thinking about a brush stroke. I'm just thinking about covering it. But later you'll see that different brush strokes create different textures in each rectangle of color. As we saw when we mixed this new shade of yellow, mixing colors really depends on the amount of colors that you mix together. So now I'm going to mix a larger amount of red with my yellow to make an orange. Notice that I did not wash my brush in between because I was using the same colors, red and yellow, but just in different amounts. So if you want to conserve washing your brush, think about painting some colors that are next to each other on the color wheel first, and then washing your brush when you get to a really different color. The first color that I mixed was yellow, a shade of yellow. It had a little red in it, and then I filled a rectangle with that new color that I mixed, that new yellow. And so because I had used red already to warm up that yellow, I just continued to use a little more red in the yellow, and then I was able to not wash my brush in between because orange is right next to yellow on the color wheel, and I was using the same two colors, just in different amounts. I want you to notice how I'm moving my brush. If you pay attention to how you move your brush, you control your brush stroke. Now let's look at how I moved my brush when I painted my yellow rectangle. Can you see how they both have different textures? Different brush strokes create different textures. It just boils down to how you move your brush. The next color that I want to make is, I want to make a shade of red, but I want to add a little blue. And because blue and orange are not next to each other on the color wheel, I need to wash my brush. So I'm going to pretend I'm a little fish, just sweeping the bottom of my bowl. And I'm not going to go tap, 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 because that can spray paint. Notice how I'm checking to see if my brush is clean by painting the messy paper. Now I'm ready to take a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of blue because I still want my red to look red. I just want to cool it down with a little blue. It's going to make it a little bit of a darker red, but it will still look like red. That red is not different enough, so I'm going to add a little more blue. I want the red that I paint onto my rectangles to be different than the red in the bottle. Let's see. Yep, that definitely looks like a different red. So I am going to paint the outline of my rectangle and fill it in. Be sure that you are smoothing out any big blobs of paint that you have. I'm going to fast forward so you don't have to watch me paint in this whole rectangle. And I want to talk about my next color. Yeah, you can see how I'm nicely smoothing out that paint. So the next color I'm going to make is a purple. Purple is next to red, so I do not need to wash my brush. I am just going to take a little blue and mix and mix and mix it in to get one nice smooth color. That is not the purple I am aiming for. So I think I would have to add too much blue to that red to make the purple that I want. So I am going to move some red over and add more blue so that I can make the kind of purple that I want. It goes back to the amount of blue and the amount of red that I mix together, and that is a math word called the ratio. And the ratio is the relationship between two amounts. Make sure you do those neat outlines. We're trying to cover all the weight of the paper. We're going to use these beautiful art papers for collage work. So we want to make sure that they look nice. Okay, just to review, every color that you paint, you are going to be mixing at least two colors together to make it. You're going to fill in each rectangle neatly on your paper with a new and different color that you have mixed. And I want you to remember that you can play around with your brush stroke. Fill as many rectangles as you can, and when it is time to clean up, we will put them in the drying rack. Have fun making new colors and experimenting with brush strokes. I know you're having fun in art today.